Adding a little bit onto that, making sure that it's going to be hard for them to actually get that. Oh, actually, the Maestro Cam is stopping that. Evil Eye still available. As the EMP will be tossed in, most likely. It doesn't often get utilized, but when it does, it's these small things that might change the route later on.
If you want to get better or understand how to play Maestro correctly, I'm sure that you will like this video. There will be timestamps, as we will first go through his loadout, some basics and then to advanced things. If you're interested to see other operator guides, make sure to check the description. With having said this, let's get going. Maestro is one of the few 1-speed, 3 armor operators that comes with probably the best gun in defense. Arda is the beast. As you can see, Arda comes with 81 bullets in the mag, so it's not even that hard to get an ace without reloading during the kills. For the other option, it had its uses by pro players. I'll mention it later why, for a bit more advanced part. Alda should be your top choice in the most situation, as Alda is famous for just going brrrr. I have talked a lot about defending secondary gadget in the top right corner. Barbed wires and impacts are both good at the situations, so it's impossible for me to recommend you one over another one. To see when to use which, make sure to check out that video. Maestro brings two bulletproof cameras, or evil eyes that I will call bubbles. They have to be placed manually, cannot be thrown. And when placed they can shoot lasers that deals 5 damage. As you can see, when I stopped to shoot, bubbles were being recharged, and it is done pretty quickly. You can shoot 20 lasers without stopping, and by quick maths, that is 100 health points. This means you can put an operator in down but not out state with it, but generally, you don't want to shoot people with it. When to shoot them and tricks behind it will be put later. The reason you don't want to shoot people that much is you don't want to get team killed. But also bubbles turn into distractible bullets the moment you open them up to shoot. By default they are closed. To start shooting people you need to open up front part of the bubbles and then shoot. When the visor is open it can be shot, as you can see. It is also important how when you shoot someone, their animation is not disturbed, unlike when you stun someone with echo. They also get a visual effect of being hit. The bubbles can see through smoke grenades, so they are a great counter to glass or smoke pushes. When you put them, you can take them back to another place. That's it for the basics, let's talk about his role. Many people take him as a plan denial, and I wouldn't agree with them. Sure, you can deny the plan with the zap, and eventually kill an attacker. But also, just because you can kill people with the smoke waves as smoke, that doesn't mean you should be using them in that way to kill people. I hope that makes sense. Maestro's role is to help your team to deny the plant. So what is the difference, you may ask? When your team is denying the plant, whether it to be smoke canisters, C4s from underneath or on the same floor, or just to rush through the attacker's smokes, since evil eyes can see the smokes, your team needs intel for that, where the plant is, and bubbles are the king there. On the other hand, zapping the planter through smoke like this is totally fine, as attackers will have a hard time shooting it back as smoke is blocking the way. This is just one of his roles, but for the bubbles located inside of the objective, prioritize them staying alive and not zapping attackers, while helping your team to deny the plant, rather than losing the only intel onto attackers. Another way to play with the bubbles is to gather intel for the roamers for important places, but as well as to deny attackers intel. A great example would be 90 on Villa, having the bubbles above the hatch. You can deny drones coming from statuary, trophy, and drone hole that is there. But as well as long as the camera is still there, your team knows exactly if long and short with the 90 window are clear to start flanking attackers from there. We'll go through evil eye placement ideas in a bit. So Maestro denies and gives intel, and helps you to deny the plant. Pair that up with Alda, and you get yourself a nearly a must-pick operator on every single objective. Some people like to use evil eyes on a level above on an important hedge, such as kitchen hedge on clubhouse. The bubble is just above us, as you can see. And since Zaps can destroy exothermic charges from Thermite, Ace, and Hibana charges on the hatches, people try to deny them from above. This might work when attackers are blind and cannot see a hole on the top. This also might work if attackers are not roam clearing, but in MMR around gold or higher. You have to expect attackers to contest the roamers, and therefore your evil eye will be seen in the office and will be rendered useless. On the other hand, having sneakier evil eyes like on Cafe against Piano Walls or Consulate against Toilet Hatch was done a couple of times in the Pro League. You're hoping here that attackers won't see the evil eyes and that you will be able to shoot the heart breaching charges, which can win you the round. This is also one of the uses of the bubbles. For example, having one bubble by study on the top of the hatch on Villa will be able to deny all 4 walls, or 3 walls depending on the strat against Aviator and Game's objectives. And this is by no means a sneaky evil eye. This is just an evil eye for the drones as well as against heart breachers. Oh, by the way, you will also be able to see the top of the red stairs.
G2 is being picked apart ever so slightly. Kenta down, Uno down. Right now the X-Carus are going to be adding a little bit onto that.
So, how should your round be played? It heavily depends on your team and the overall strat. You can play off the side as you have the best gun in defense to hold an unimportant area. And as you could have seen, his bubbles are not made to deny the plant, but to help you deny the plant as well as to help your roamers. What I can tell you is how to play in a 1 vs 1 and 1 vs X situation. In a 1 vs 1, you can deny the plant with the bubble, and if you have eyes on the attacker and you are safe and you relate to him, then you can be 24/7 on the bubble, even if you have dead teammates. However, rules change if 1 vs 2 or more, since you won't be able to deny the plant, because whoever covers the plant will shoot the camera. You have to rely on your teammates to give you precise calls whilst you are pushing them. Pushing while someone is planting is a slight advantage for you, as you know where the guy is and he cannot shoot you back during the animation of the plant. You can also guess where the other guy or guys are. For your dead teammates, or even during a round, don't hesitate to drop red pings. The evil eyes are very much visible, and the attackers can see that they are being watched. You have been spotted, especially in the plant situations, can put the attackers in a nervous state. As how to play the round? Many people will tell you not to play on the camera 24/7, but as I have told you, usually there is someone on the camera 24/7. Especially if you have brought a lot of intel operators, so being that guy on the camera is totally fine. It is a general misconception. Let's talk about probably the most important thing so far, the mentality behind his gadget. Let's go to Clubhouse and in Garage, and check these 2 bubble spots. Both are correct, but both have different mentality. The one that is facing Garage door can be destroyed from the outside, but also you can deny early drones coming to Garage, basically cutting the immediate intel from the attackers. This bubble will also be rendered useless against Montaigne. On the other hand, the other evil eye is safe from the garage doors, but not from the garage breaches, and can be used against Monty. When you're putting an evil eye, you generally want to have the most out of it. Example will be taken on church. Which bubble do you prefer more? The one on top of this, as it can see the objective, but as well as kitchen drop and moto drop. And also can deny all the drones coming that way as well as from the hallway. Generally speaking, bubbles that were put on the top of anything are harder to destroy with a cooked grenade, so if possible, and if you won't lose a lot of time, put it on the vertical spots. Another idea of putting bubbles is under the tables or under vehicles. Under cars can be found on the consulate, as you can zap attackers, otherwise they will have harder time destroying it. And you can stack up an ADS or magnets on more places than if you will put it on the other spots. Under the table, a perfect example is this one on coast, which can see all the way toward the aqua balcony. And if you open up the field levels by aqua, you can nearly see the whole aqua. Having a bubble like this when defending kitchen and service will see a lot of angles, with opened angles. I won't go over bubble locations in this video as I have made a picture guide on my subreddit per objective. so feel free to check it out if interested. Let's go to his counters. If you put an evil eye on a destructible wall, then anyone opening up that wall will also destroy the evil eye. You can put it on a destructible floor, no need to destroy it prior to that. Nor you need to destroy the picture before putting on it, as they will be destroyed by default. Thatcher and Twitch both can counter Maestro, as EMP will open up the bubble for 10 seconds and attackers will be able to shoot the bubble during these 10 seconds. Also, the bubble will be disabled for these 10 seconds. However, if you expect Thatcher doing so, you can turn the bubble, in some situations, towards top, not letting attackers to shoot it out, like on the cafe's example. If you will put it on the floor, then just turning it on the opposite side will do its job. The latter might not work against Twitch, as her drone will disable the evil eye with the first ace, and then can destroy it with another ace. But facing the bubble up will counter the Twitch drone. It is bulletproof but not explosive proof, so Ash, Zofia, breaching charges or exothermic charges next to it, Kali and Frags can deal with them. Sledge's hammer, as well as Maverick's blowtorch can destroy it. But they are really not counters in most situations, as they will be super exposed when trying to deal with that. So, should you always have bubbles turned up before using them? Not really, as if you die, your teammates cannot move the camera anymore. In 5-stack teams, you'll have someone switching between the cameras 24/7, and if someone happens to see Thatcher or Twitch, they have to call that immediately for Maestro. But during the action phase, keep them to face most of the intel. During the preparation phase, you might want to put them watching top. For the other gun, it was used to open up a lot of pit level angles. Like if you're defending Aviator and Game Zone Villa, you can open up statuary leg level holes, as well as Astro, so attackers feel very unsafe getting in bedroom and later in the Astronaut, as they can be denied from the feet angles, which are one way. The other gun was also used on Oregon for a lot of vertical holes from kids towards first floor. Last but not at least, let's compare Maestro with some other operators such as Smoke and Echo. Smoke and Echo also don't have a primary role of denying the plant. I went through them in the other operator guides. And Maestro really doesn't have that much in common with Smoke, aside from making rotations with Bailiff. He has impacts to impact trick, which I forgot to mention, but let's go to compare Echo with Maestro. Echo's primary role is to help roamers with yokais and then during the late round to deny the plant. Echo can be an active droner, but they can be easily shot. Whereas Maestro can only put it and call it a day. Maestro can deny intel from the attackers and get the intel for the team, whereas Yokai can only get intel, but he can do it way better. Echo has a deployable shield, arguably the most required secondary gadget, whereas Maestro has impact and barbs, both very powerful but less impactful than shield. Maestro has best gun. Many people think that bubbles are bulletproof cameras on steroids, and it's generally true. But situationally like on Session Club, having a bulletproof camera instead of an evil eye means that the attacker would, with the help of Thatcher, cannot destroy the bulletproof camera, whereas they can destroy the evil eye. What's necessary to take from this video? Don't force yourself to put bubbles inside of the objective. Maestro has a lot of roles than helping the team to deny the plant. Make sure that your bubbles can see the most of the situation, but as well as to be as safe as possible. Also, make sure to check my subreddit for Maestro locations, and don't hesitate to ask if you don't know the reasons why are they put in a such way.